Tyler, a lot of people may be familiar with the concept of green roofs and farming on buildings, but we've seen this week an interesting story out of Calgary where an abandoned office tower and the Calgary Tower, in fact, are spaces are being transformed into internal farms in these urban settings. What do you make of this trend?
You know, Chris, it's another example that the face of agriculture and the way that we produce food is changing. We're looking at how do we use spaces that are available more efficiently? How do we take advantage of what we have in available to us? And vacant office space is one of those things. Often when people think of vertical farming of crops being grown inside through hydroponics or air-based systems, they think about potentially big warehouses. That's usually where these have been built. But we're seeing some innovation in Calgary, in the Calgary Tower there, where there's plants now being grown inside, food grown inside, vacant office floor, and this isn't something that's going to take up every office building in Canada. It's a new technology. It's something that's an innovation that's taking shape. But I think it shows how people are experimenting, trying with new ways to produce food more sustainably, produce food more closer to the consumer, and it's going to have an impact, and we're going to see more of this, not less, in the years ahead.
So two things to pick up on there. But first, I can imagine not all landlords would be terribly pleased about having their office spaces used as aeroponic farms.
That's right, and again, this isn't something that's going to happen everywhere. Food production, especially when you look at hydroponic systems that use water, very humid, it can have an impact. It's not every office space is made for this, but we're finding people seeing a problem and developing a solution. And so the system in place in Calgary has found solutions to that. So that may help make this more of an option across the country.
Another thing you said, though, that I want to pick up on is that it may also increase the connection that urban Canadians have to food production. Do you see that as being a net positive thing in the long run?
Yeah, it's always a positive whenever we can better connect consumers and where their food comes from. We've seen there's a great example in Montreal where that connection's being made with rooftop agriculture production. This is something, another example of that, another step in that direction. It's always important, Chris, to understand, though, that there are limits with how much food can be produced this way. This isn't, you're not going to go into your local big box grocery store and see all of your, bread being produced from grain this way. There's some crops don't work in these systems. But what you could see is more of your lettuce, your leafy greens coming out of systems like this, some fruits, some vegetables coming out of systems like this going into store shelves. And that's always a positive. And we've talked in the past about some of the challenges with weather, their impacts on farming. One of the benefits of these indoor systems is that they can be isolated from that. They've got other challenges. Costs are certainly part of it. Energy use can be another part of it. But again, the innovation is happening. They're finding solutions to these tools, and it's going to be something that continues to change the shape of agriculture in the future.